Oh, I'm alive. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Zena from Chic Is Me. How are you today? I'm just on here live for a few minutes. I had a subscriber to ask a question about vanilla beans, and her question was, can you eat the vanilla beans? So this is for my soul sister, Tyjeri, over at Mighty Soul. The answer to your question is yes, but I'm also going to give some information about uh, the vanilla beans period. I didn't give a lot in the last video, but I am going to give you the reasons why, extensive reasons of why I do my vanilla. So make a correction. In my last video, I indicated that I first made vanilla in 2012. That's incorrect. I made vanilla for the first time in 2017. The reason I started making vanilla was because of what had happened to the island of Madagascar. If you are not aware, vanilla beans come from an island. They are the Madagascar. It is the Madagascar island. It is located in the Indian Ocean on the southeastern coast of Africa. So that's the first thing. In 2017, Madagascar had a real bad hurricane to go through. It destroyed a lot of the crop. And I'm going to read to you out of my notes what happened for those people. So there were 78 deaths. The damage was $400 million. 247,000 people were displaced. 95% of the crop was destroyed due to that hurricane. And the bean prices escalated. So why did I buy beans in 2017? At the time that the hurricane hit, which was in March of 2017, I was anticipating on having more cakes to prepare for Easter that was coming up. Also, I wanted to have enough vanilla to last me for my baking season at the end of the year, which is around Thanksgiving and Christmas. And I didn't have enough in-house to do Easter and that time of the year. So when the hurricane happened and I had heard about it, and I heard about it through some other online channels, I went ahead and I bought beans. But I only bought beans because the beans that were local here in the stores were so expensive. You could only get 2 beans or maybe 3 beans for a price of $20. And I'm going to show you what a full bean looks like. So here's what I bought this year. So this is my package, and I haven't opened it, and I'll tell you why. So this is the size of beans. So from here to here, and I want to say that's a good 6 to 8 inches, I think. Let me see. Does it say? Doesn't say, but this is 8 ounces of beans, I think. So imagine just 2 of these, maybe 3, in a bottle that carried them whole for $20. That was expensive. Even before the hurricane had hit, that's how expensive they were. So since we couldn't find beans less than that, I just go in ahead and I decided to go ahead and buy some beans online. So we got a package, but I didn't get this package is more than what I got the last time. The last time I only bought maybe $40 worth, and I got about I think 12 to 15 beans. I think, I can't remember. Even that was expensive because the prices had started to soar by the time I got ready to purchase the beans online. So, with that being said, I got the beans in March of 2017, and I made the vodka. I made the vanilla the first time with vodka. The second time I made it is when you see me in the other video talking about I made it with cognac for the very first time. That was at the end of I think at the end of the year, somewhere in there. So when you're making your vanilla, of course, you can get a quicker product if you're making it with vodka. But if you're making it with cognac, it depends on your cognac on how quickly it will steep. And like I indicated, the cognac that I used this time, it took a year. So with that being said, why did I buy these beans? Why did I buy these beans? So we were on vacation in Detroit, and my son calls, Mom, do you have vanilla beans? And I said, I have a few left, but I don't know how many. And I'm thinking he wanted to get a few of the beans, but he said, well, you may want to think about getting you some beans when you get back home. And I said, why? And he said, Madagascar had a hurricane. And I'm like, oh my God, not again. So I didn't even think about it. I already knew I only had a few beans left. So I went ahead in March of this year and purchased another batch of beans. This is 8 ounces. This cost me $80 in March of this year. I have not opened them yet. So when I got home, I checked out what I had left, because before I left home, I had started the batch in 2024 of vanilla that just finished. So if you saw my last video, you know I just started this one. So September of last year, I started some. This year, when it came around, I started some more. So what happened to 2025? In 2025, which was between February and March, there were 3 deaths this time. So quite a big difference in the intensity of the hurricane. And then only 46,000 people were affected. Now, I couldn't find any information on how much damage it did for the vanilla bean crop. But with that just tells you alone that there was not a lot of damage. What people don't realize is how vanilla beans are grown. They are grown from a vine, an orchid, as a matter of fact. It takes 3 to 4 years for an orchid to mature. When it matures, the flower opens. There's only 24 hours available to you or to a grower to pollinate the vanilla bean. Vanilla beans are hand pollinated, so they are not self-pollinating or anything, or they don't have a type of insect that will come by like bees go to flowers and pollinate. Vanilla beans are hand populated or propagated. So that means within 24 hours, somebody has to go and take one flower and touch the other flower to pollinate. It's not going to happen if you don't. If it doesn't happen, that plant or that orchid will not produce a bean. It has to be hand pollinated. So people are always wondering, why does things happen have to cost so much? This right here, hand pollination. That's why. So people should not think that this comes easy. It does not. It does not. You have to think about how it's grown. And that's how people get misled. They don't look, they don't research. So that's how vanilla beans are grown. That's where they're grown. And that's why they are so expensive. So if you have the opportunity to purchase your own, do so. Now for the question. The question was, can you eat the beans? Yes, you can. There are 5 different ways that you can do this. The first way, and I'm going to show you how it looks. So my beans are cut in half. So I'm going to open this up right quick and show you. So you would take a vanilla bean, a whole one, like this, out. The first way is to scrape the seed or the caviar. So what you want to do is you want to, there, is that one? There's a little ridge sometimes on the opposite, on one side of the bean. And you can take a steak knife just like this. I don't know if you can see that or not. Hold on. You can take a steak knife and you can get the bean when it comes out of the package, and you can run your knife down the center. Let me see, let me turn it around. My hands are clean, y'all. Ooh, it's soft. So down the center of the bean, right there. So take a knife like this, run it down the center of the bean. Spread it open, and you will see the caviar inside. The caviar is little black seeds. I mean little. And you may not be able to see that, but inside this lid, if you can see that, that's how small vanilla bean caviar is. Very small. You want to scrape that out. And let's see, what you can use the caviar for is if you make your own pie custards, if you have some type of batter, or like I had explained in my text message back to Tajiri, you can put it in ice cream, okay? So that's how you can use the caviar. Second way is to infuse in liquids, making your own vanilla extract. And let's see what else. You can also use it in cream, making syrup, and milk. So you can take the whole bean and you can open it up and you can infuse that way. You can make vanilla sugar. A lot of people take the vanilla pod. So after this makes it, I can take the caviar out if I want to take it out. But if not, these beans, if they're not good enough to make a third batch, I could take those bean pods and open them up and layer them in a jar with regular sugar. So this is just a storage jar. It looks like a canning jar, but it's not a true canning jar. So just don't bypass that. This right here is a jar. So you can use a canning jar, or you can use a storage jar like this, or any kind of jar with a good seal. Preferably if you keep the lids, if the lids were metal, you can do that to keep it airtight. But if not, you can use a regular canning jar like this in a pint size and put a regular canning lid on it, okay? And I will have to demonstrate how to seal that down to show you. So that's the third way. You can layer it till it gets almost full with sugar until you get enough of what you want, and you're gonna let it sit. And what that does, it releases all of the aromas and all the remaining flavor out of the bean into the sugar. What do you do with the sugar? A lot of people take that sugar and they use it in their coffee, okay? All right, fourth way, you can take the pods and dry them. Okay, so here's what you're gonna do. If you dry the pods, you can chew the pods, but they're tough. So these right here, I can squeeze them. So it means they still have some moisture in them, and when they were actually vacuum sealed. So what you would do is you would take the pod and you would split it down the middle, and you would take the caviar out, and you can just go ahead and put your caviar into your actual vanilla that you have making, and open it up, lay it on your dehydrating tray, and then set your dehydrator for the appropriate temperature to dry them. So What you want at the end of the day is a dry pod. It has to be dry, dry. You do not have a food dehydrator. You can use your oven, but it has to be turned down to its lowest point, and you have to watch it. You don't have to watch it on a dehydrator because it's constantly flowing air across those beans as it heats. So it's heating and cooling and keeping it cool at the same time. In an oven, you don't have that. So you have to watch them when you're using the oven. What do you do when they are finished drying? You can take them and put them in a coffee grinder. So I have one. I do have one. But I use my coffee grinder for other spices and things of that nature, which you'll see in upcoming videos. So you would want to, and this one had cumin or something in it, and I can tell because the even though it's clean, it has stained it to a certain amount. So if you're going to use a coffee grinder that has already been used before on something like savory spices, you want to make sure it's totally clean. Or buy two coffee grinders, one for spices and one for not. And then you would put those in here to your fill line. You have a fill line max line in there. It's right there. And turn it on. You just follow directions. And you want it to come to a fine powder. And store it. And I have some smaller jars that are jelly jars, so I would use something like that. And then you can use that powder for different applications, such as different breads and things like that, I think. The last way that you can use your pods, you can leave them whole, and you can put them in your applesauce if you make your own applesauce. So when you're actually cooking your apples to make applesauce, drop a couple of pods in with the actual apples, and they will infuse that way. Or if you do other fruits, you can use them for, it says here, poached pears. You can do poached pears. You can do peaches. Whatever you would like a vanilla flavor in, you could poach them like that. And you would leave them whole. But you would not be able to reuse them after you do an application like that. So if you are, and here's even a can of applesauce, you can take it and heat it up and put the pot in it and just go from there. So that is the main reason why I do my own vanilla, because it is an expensive item. I mean, extremely expensive. If you can buy them in bulk, like I have bought in bulk, it saves you time when you're looking for vanilla beans. If you continually have a supply going, you're going to always have vanilla. If you don't, you're going to miss a season. And that's what happened to me one time. So I missed the season because I didn't go buy any. And it was hard to find some. So, and I really do not use imitation because that's a whole nother story. I don't want to get into that. We're not going to talk about it unless somebody asks me about it. Okay. So, but that's a different story altogether. But that's the reason, that's why I make my vanilla. That's the answer to your question. Yes, you can eat the beans, and in those applications that I have described. If you have any other questions about vanilla beans, hit me up. I'll be more than happy to look it up for you and get the answer back to you. So I thought I would do this as a video because of the information that I did find on the vanilla beans, instead of just hitting you up and say yes or no, you know. So I hope this helps somebody when it comes to making their own vanilla. And let me know what you think, how you make yours. Do you make it with vodka, or do you make it with something special like this? Thank you for joining, and y'all be blessed.